Good morning. Sorry I'm not with you this morning. Clementine has RSV, which is a respiratory viral infection. And so I had to keep her home today to make sure that she stays fever free. But my goal is that I will be back tomorrow. So I'm going to do an online math lesson with you. I won't be on It's Learning to answer questions today, but I'll clear up questions tomorrow. Today, we're going to be talking about fractions and decimals and how we can convert between the two of them. So, in your math book, we're going to end up on page 69. But first off, what we're going to do is we're going to watch this personal math trainer together. I'm going to make it full screen, and we're going to start from here.
Whew. I just got back from a really serious hike, which actually reminds me of an interesting math question involving Tabitha and her hiking distances. Let's check it out for ourselves and see if we can find Tabitha's interesting mistake. Let's check it out. So, Tabitha's hiking distance in July was 2 1/5 miles. Now, she wrote the distance as 2 2/2 miles, or 2.02 miles. Question is, what error did she make? Of course, the great thing about making mistakes is it's a wonderful opportunity for us to learn from them. So in fact, Tabitha really is offering to be our teacher right now. And so let's take a look and see. So the distance that she actually hiked in July was 2 1/5. And so if we write that out, we see 2 1 1/5. And so now the question is, how would we actually write that as a decimal number? Well, one thing we could do is actually first take a look at 1/5 and write that as a decimal number. And if we do that, that just requires us to do a little bit of a division. So let's just actually set up the division right here. Now we see that 5 doesn't actually go into 1, so I'm going to now think of the 1 as a decimal, so 1.0. And now what's the rule? What's our thinking when we do a division like this? We write that decimal point right above where this decimal point is, so they align. We saw that 5 actually doesn't go into 1, so we write a 0 here in front. And you could, in fact, if you wanted, say 0 times 5 is 0, and then if you subtract, you'd still get the 1, so we just won't even bother with that. Now, the decimal now has served its purpose. We have the decimal in play, so now let's look at this number as just a 10. So 5 goes into 10 2 times, so I write that right in that same spot. Now 2 times 5 is 10, and notice that when I subtract, I get 0, and so the game is over. So I see that 1/5 actually equals 2/10. And maybe I should make a little note of that and say that that's like a little fun fact, that 1/5 is the same thing as 2/10. And so now if I think about what this means, this really has an invisible addition because 2 and 1/5, the and is our cue, that means addition, so this is actually 2 plus 1/5. And now we just saw what 1/5 is. We saw that that's actually 2/10. And so if we add these, how do you add these? Well, you know how we add these. We align the decimals. So again, if you want to add this, it would be a 2. And where's the decimal in the 2? It's right here. And now we align that decimal and write the 0, 2. And now we add. If you want, you could put the invisible 0 here. And now we just add straight down, and we see 2.2, or 2 and 2/10. And so the answer is 2.2. And the units here, in fact, are miles. So I could write in miles here if I wanted to. And that's the correct answer. So that's the correct answer. So what was the mistake? Well, remember that she said 2 2/100. So what does that mean? Well, you can just think of kind of the location of the various places, and that really is going to help. So we have the ones here, to 1 unit over to the decimal points, and then 1 unit to the right are the tenths and then the hundredths. So the actual answer is 2.2, or 2 and 2 tenths. And all that Tabitha did was she put a little 0 in here. Maybe she was confused by that 0 there. You see, that's not a bad mistake, right? You can see that, right? 2 point and then 0, 2. That's maybe how she got that, in fact. But you have to make sure that you align those decimal spots, and if you do, then you would not see the 2 and 2 hundredths, but in fact you'd see the correct answer. So just to make sure here, we want to make sure that we like this. This one is a happy thing, and this one is a sad thing, because it's not quite the correct answer, but a great opportunity to learn. So we have to make sure that when you're adding or subtracting decimal numbers that you line up decimal. And if the 2 is just there without a decimal point, you understand the decimal point comes right after that number, and then there's an invisible collection of zeros as you might need them, so everything aligns up, and then you're good to go. It's amazing to see that even when you're out there hiking, math is all around us, and those decimals will follow us. So let's make sure that those decimal points are aligned when we add and subtract, and that we carry them straight up when we're dividing. Have fun thinking about the decimals in your life, and I'll see you soon.
Okay, so from there, we're going to be looking at our math lesson, which is, hold on, let me see, not this. So I'm going to go to our student edition math book. This is the same as yours. Mine's just online because I don't have my DocCam, and you need to start on page 69 with me. We're not going to do too many together today because I don't want your video to be too long, okay? So I'm going to zoom in here. First thing, our essential question: how can you convert between fractions and decimals? That's where we are going to look first. So, we're going to start with our word problem. It says the African pygmy hedgehog is a popular pet in North America. The average African pygmy hedgehog weighs between 0.5 pounds and 1.25 pounds. How can these weights be written as fractions or mixed numbers? So we have our decimals. First it says write 0.5 as a fraction and 1.25 as a mixed number in simplest form. So we got to first do simplest form. So our first thing here, we have 0.5. 0.5 is 5 what? What would I put in this box? Well, if I'm looking up here at my place value, my first spot after the decimal is tenths. So that means I need to put a 10 there. Now, I need to zoom out really quick and see. It would be 10. Now, this is the question on here about the express 1.25 as a fraction. So we have 1.25. Well, 25 would go on to our top fraction. Yours is going to look different because you are writing things in your math book differently than I am, okay? Now, the 25 has 2 decimal places, which means that's 25 hundredths. So that would be 25 over 100, okay? Simplify using greatest common factor. How I do the greatest common factor. Fine. Oh, I have a pen. Perfect. Back. Colter, you're okay. Mommy almost done. Mommy almost done. Mommy just has to do one more problem. Okay? Do you want Blippi on? You want to watch Blippi?